Let's talk about a game from another beloved series that I've only played one game in the series. And let's spin the random wheel to see what was selected.
What's it gonna be? It could be any. Can't wait to see. Shantae. Heck yeah, man. That's sick. Okay, let's do that.
It's Shantae, a game so classic, I bought it twice. And I kind of wish I hadn't. Shantae is one of the most rare and expensive games on the Game Boy Color. It goes like for $500 or something like that. And it got re-released on the freaking Switch and reprinted on the Game Boy Advance or what, Game Boy Color, whatever. I've got both of them, like I just showed you. And it's part of a pretty extensive series. And I mean, there's side scrollers done by WayForward, and WayForward is legendary for making side scrollers. And this game originally was on the Game Boy Color, like I said, and this is a technical marvel of a game. It's a masterpiece in terms of design, just the animations and all the content and stuff. I can't believe that this is on the Game Boy Color, which is basically like just an original Nintendo Entertainment System, right? This is like an NES 8-bit game, and it has animations that look better than like 32-bit games. The characters are detailed, they have great animations, there's this third-person view in the towns that's incredible, combined with like this unbelievable soundtrack, and it's easy to see why this game is so loved. Now, Shantae is a half genie, and she also has to protect her town. So these pirates show up, steal a steam engine, and Shantae has to stop them and get the engine back. It kind of has a Metroidvania feel to it, where the map has different towns and you have to travel left and right, back and forth to get new items, to access new areas, to get to new towns and all this sort of stuff. It can be kind of like hard to know where to go. It does give you clues, but it's like, go to Watertown, and you're like, which way is freaking water? Is it to the left or the right? And it's like, your guess is as good as mine, and you wander into some area and get absolutely annihilated, okay? And I say get annihilated, and I'm not joking, because this game is freaking hard, especially at the beginning before you get upgrades. Enemies spawn right on top of you. Shantae's hair whip is super hard to control. I almost never got the swing of it, and there's this slight delay when attacking and jumping. This may just be the Switch port, okay? I don't know if this plays perfectly on the Game Boy Color. I'm not gonna open up my copy, because my Switch copy is already open, but on the Switch, which is the version I'm reviewing, it controls like garbage. Just absolute disaster controls. I kept dying over and over and over. And this game, it's unfair and it's unbalanced. It's definitely a relic of its time. It reminds me a lot of Wonder Boy. You grind for gold to buy items and travel to different areas in a sort of like pseudo-Metrovania, kind of like Simon's Quest. It also has the day-night cycle for Simon's Quest, where the enemies get harder in the middle of the night than they are in the day, and it's always really like inconvenient and frustrating when it happens, and it happens in this just like Simon's Quest, and nobody likes it. I don't know why they even do it in the first place. Because this was originally a Game Boy Color game, the screen is really small. So that just leads you to have to do a bunch of like leaps of faith and jumping into enemies you couldn't have known were even there, and having to know where platforms are without being able to see them and stuff. And I hate that feeling in a game. Now, there are dungeons in this, and them themselves are very fun. I think they're pretty decent. And they have puzzle elements you have to overcome, and in each one you unlock a new animal ability, which is also a ripoff from the Wonder Boy games. That's what you do in those games too. You can become a monkey and climb walls, or an elephant and smash blocks, etc. And this is fun, but what isn't fun is how you transform. The way Shantae transforms is you press a button that makes her start dancing, and then you have to press buttons in like a rhythm game mixed with Ocarina of Time kind of system, where you have to like know the dance moves to do it the right time, and that will transform her. Just kind of like when you played Ocarina of Time, you had to know the song to play on the ocarina. It's doing that, but like I said, it's very highly time-based. The issue is that this is so freaking hard. Remember when I talked about how there's a delay in this game? Yeah, there's a delay when you're dancing. It's almost impossible to play on the beat. You have to like play so far off the beat that I can't even give you an example. It's not like you're playing a 16th note ahead of the beat. It's just like some arbitrary time before the beat. You just gotta get lucky. And getting lucky is fine, except sometimes you have to change forms really quickly in like boss fights and stuff. And the boss is just wailing on you, and you're just like, all you gotta do is press like down, left to like turn into the elephant or whatever, and you just can't do it. You're just like, even if there was anybody there, it'd take me 10 or 15 tries to get it each time. And I'm a musician, it's not like I can't do things on the beat. What I'm seeing on the screen of the button presses, they're not lining up, okay? It's not my fault. It's poor game design or poor porting. I don't know which one. The other Shantae game I played, I really liked, and liked it so much I decided to buy all the other Shantae games. This first Shantae game, I don't think this is a very good game. I'm just reviewing the Switch version. I'm not talking about the Game Boy Color. The Switch port of it just does not play well. And I know that the Game Boy Color version of the game is legendary and highly sought after, and it has some really cool ideas. It's very dated. They're old gameplay mechanics that are frustrating, and mixed with the frustrating controls on the Switch just makes it a slog to play through. I spent like 3 hours one afternoon just grinding the same enemies so I could max out all my money, and I went and bought every single upgrade that the village had, and then couldn't even really figure out how to use them or make them work at will. Like the button presses just don't work, and even then I don't even know what to do with them. It's just, the game just wastes your time. It wastes your time. The combat, the backtracking, it's a huge chore. The presentation's great, and I like where the series went with the sequels. It's a holy grail because of its rarity, not because of its gameplay. I had to force myself to play this, and I didn't really enjoy myself. It really does play kind of like a second-rate NES game with beautiful graphics and great music. When this came out on the Game Boy Color, it came out in 2002, which I think was like the last game to come out on the Game Boy Color. We were already in full swing of the Game Boy Advance at that point. It was dated then. That's why nobody bought this game. I made it about halfway through the original Shantae before the game asked me to backtrack from one end of the entire map all the way to the other end, which is basically like playing through the entire game again, right, in reverse. And this is the third time they'd asked me to do that. I was not having a good time. I just didn't want to do it. So I hung the towel up on Shantae. I don't think Shantae's a great game. It has a really cool presentation. I don't know why people wanted this so badly, other than the fact that it was just rare. Shantae, the original, on the Nintendo Switch, this port of it, I'm giving a 5 out of 10. It's just not a good port. It's not fun to play, it just doesn't work.